Hey there, cats and kittens. My name is Alonda Carter, and I am the Recovering Hunbot. I create anti-MLM, that is anti-multi-level marketing videos. And on occasion, and yeah, it's been a while, I do dip my toes into true crime. But if you think about it, isn't multi-level marketing criminal? Today's video, we are going to take a look at some training provided by Beachbody Corporate. Now, myself, when I look at this, I really do kind of cringe because my background, if you don't know, I have a master's in instructional design and technology. Most people don't know what that is. So very quickly, it is design and development of training. And I've been doing it many, many years. And I'm also a former classroom teacher. So I've been in the whole, education game for a minute. And one of the things that always unnerves me is when someone is put in charge of a training department, any kind of training, and they don't have a background at all in it. Now, you can learn some things, like on your own. There's actually an organization where you can get kind of like a certification and stuff, but you can learn a lot by experience. However, at the same time, formal training is a thing. There's actually a science behind how people learn and all of that. Here's a little bit of trivia for you. Instructional design basically was born out of the need to be able to train a lot of people quickly. And that's during World War II, and it came out of the Army. So it's, it's been around a while. And there's actually, there's procedures that you can follow so that you can really, make training tight, make it meaningful, and people actually learn and all of that. Anyway, the person who is presenting this has a background in business administration and also in marketing. This person is also LDS and did go on a mission. And in my opinion, if you've been on an LDS mission, you are a champion at taking no, because I'm sure you get no a whole bunch. And really because of how many MLMs are within Utah and everything, in my opinion, it's normalized multi-level marketing for people who are LDS because, it's just part of the culture. You just see it everywhere. And so you're not going to really think anything of it. But those of us who are in the anti-MLM community, we know the truth behind this. We know when you start peeling back the structure and looking at everything, there's a problem with the structure. There's a problem of how cultic tactics are used, the mental manipulation. All of these things are highly problematic because very few people will ever actually, make a livable wage. And you most certainly can't make a livable wage on just shilling the products. It comes down to, got to recruit people. Now here Beachbody is, and they've got a bazillion more coaches on deck, so to speak. And these people, I don't know what their situations are, but I can imagine with what's going on in the world right now, they have lost their job or their spouse has, or there's something where there's uncertainty because there's never been this much uncertainty for so many people. Since I've been alive, I don't know about you, but this is my first pandemic. So people are more susceptible to saying yes to these things. And the fact that gyms have been closed and Beachbody does have a streaming service, Beachbody On Demand, that can be very attractive to people. And then you just kind of throw in, because this is what coaches do now, is they say, oh, you can earn $50 for, getting a friend to join. What they're not really saying is that you're then becoming a discount coach. So it's really, to me, kind of very unethical and kind of slimy to put it out that way. And they also put the discount coach as like, well, you're like a VIP. This is for preferred customers. They try to make it sound like that. Meanwhile, no matter if you are building your business or not, you're just a discount coach. You're doing it for the discount because you're a loyal customer and all this other crazy stuff that they try to put in there to legitimize it all. You're still building somebody else's team. And if you buy something, you're going to give them team volume. And team volume translates into team cycle bonus, and it translates into other things. So it all builds on each other. And the only way to make money is to get other people underneath you who are buying things so you can start getting those bonuses. Now, the person who's presenting this also started out in sales, but from what I can tell of this person's background, again, no formal training in instructional design. Degrees are not in that, and probably not a member of any of the professional organizations or has ever attended any of that stuff. I mean, maybe they have, I don't know. I'm just kind of, guessing, because typically this type of thing, they don't. Now, in the past, I can't remember when it was, at some point for some MLM, and I can't remember which one it was, I did see they had a position for an instructional designer. And let me tell you, if I had to design training for an MLM, I would probably be looking for an ice pick to poke out my own eyes, because I know the stuff that I have seen, it doesn't follow any good principles when it comes to instructional design. And we have a quick little acronym, ADDIE: analyze, design, develop, implement, and evaluate. And there's so many things that when I look at their training and I think of this, and I think of the instructional design models that, I just like use intuitively because I've been doing this for so long. It's like, there ain't nothing that they're doing that's following any of this protocol. And the very first thing that I would do, and this is part of the instructional design, figuring out stuff when you actually follow a model and a process, is an audience analysis. And now you have 200,000 new coaches. And I don't think you have any kind of audience analysis that you've done. You're just lumping everybody together. And it's just so ineffective. The contents of this video is based on my research, experience, and opinion. It is intended for entertainment purposes. Anyone that is mentioned, anyone that you see, anyone that you know in any of this, they're going to be a public figure. People who are in MLM, they're a public figure. But I don't want you sending hate to anyone. That's not the point. If you know anyone who's in Beachbody or any MLM, please do not send them any hate. That doesn't do any good. It really makes people dig their heels in even more. And be kind to each other in the comments. Be kind to me. The world really could use more kindness, especially with what we're going through right now and all of that. And please, please, please do your own research. Don't just take what I say. Don't take what an MLM says, and just run with it. Look at both sides, really evaluate it. Hopefully you're not too far gone and you still have critical thinking in place, because that's something that MLMs will do, is they will just strip that right away from you. But now we're going to go ahead and look and see, what are these new Beachbody coaches being told? And I'm going to react to it and give you my 2 cents.
Hey there, Beachbody Champions. So excited to be here with you guys. It's been a while since I've had the opportunity to jump on here and chat with all of you. And so I'm excited about the opportunity to be here. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll have to do this a little bit more often. I really enjoy the chance to come on here and chat with all of you. So I hope that you guys are doing well. I know you're probably all gearing up for a great Labor Day weekend. Hopefully you're staying safe out there, and I hope everyone will do well. So I know we're going to have a lot of people tune in live, and then probably even more watching this recorded. So I'll just jump right into it. I wanted to get on here and talk to all of you, but especially to the new coaches. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but in the last months, we've had tens of thousands of new coaches join us. In fact, we've had over 200,000 join in the last 5 months alone. And so there's a lot of new blood. And that's one of the things, my job, my Beachbody title is I'm the Vice President of Field Development and Strategy, which means I'm kind of over the training and the onboarding and the kind of aligning all those pieces and making sure that we're providing you guys with the tools and things that we can to support you.
Okay, he's over the onboarding. That just unnerves me. Okay, let me just tell you, if you were hired for a company and you had the onboarding that you get when you join an MLM, you would not be successful, because all you're going to see is what you're getting is basically, you got to believe in yourself. Honestly, as an instructional designer, I will say I have seen varying degrees over the course of my lifetime having different positions. It's like crappy onboarding versus not so crappy onboarding. I've never seen a real stellar onboarding. That's something overall I think companies really, really do suck at and they need help with, because there's just it's just less than stellar. And when you're a new employee, there's stuff that you need to know, and you need to be able to know where to go and find things, and they make it just so complex and difficult and unclear, and so it's really frustrating. But here, onboarding, you're not an employee of Beachbody. You are an independent contractor. And there's only one time as an independent contractor that I ever got any real, well, I'd say decent onboarding. I was actually flown somewhere to a different city, and I want to say it was like 3 or 4 days and doing workshops and basically learning their processes and stuff. And it was decent. It was a bunch of us. It was a whole bunch of instructional designers all brought together, which was very odd because typically that's not what happens. You're, as an independent contractor, you're kind of like the red-haired stepchild. You're just not treated very well, to be quite frank. And here you are with MLM as an independent contractor, and again, you do not get any of the perks for being an employee. You don't get insurance. You don't get any kind of benefit at all. I mean, you might get like some merch if you hit Success Club or something, but really.
And as you yourself were working and as you're building a team. And one of the things that, that I've been thinking a lot about is just the new coach. And I'm hoping that a lot of you watching or that will be watching are new coaches, because a lot of what I'm going to say, in fact, everything I'm going to say today really is geared to you. And I hope this is helpful. And it was interesting as I was going through this, I've spent the last couple days preparing for this, thinking about what I wanted to do, and I actually created this really, well-designed, pretty PowerPoint, and I was going to do this PowerPoint today, and then this morning during my run, during my workout, and then my run afterwards, I was thinking about it, and it just didn't feel right. It wasn't sitting right with me. Have you guys ever had that happen when you kind of get something ready and then you go to do it, and you're like, this isn't what it's supposed to be? And I kept thinking, well, what is it? What is it? And the thought I kept having was that I just need to just talk to you, and just person to person, human to human, and just talk to you about you new coaches, about kind of what's going on, what you're doing, and what it was. And I was like, well, that's a really scary thing to do. And then the thought occurred to me, well, my wife would love to coach. Now, as a Beachbody employee, she's not allowed to be a coach, right? And that's one of the, sacrifices that we make, because my wife would love to coach, and I think she would be a great coach. She has done Beachbody programs since before I worked for Beachbody. She still does them every single day. She is definitely proof that the products work. She takes care of herself, and she is a huge advocate, and she would be a great coach. And so I thought to myself, well, if Kate just signed up as a new coach, just like you, what would I say to her? How would I phrase it to her? What would I tell her were the most important things? And so that's what I want to do today. I hope it works. I hope it's not lame. If it is, I guess I can just delete the video later, and only you people that jumped on live will see it.
Okay, I go back to an audience analysis. An audience analysis, Kate, when you're in MLM, you probably learned something about creating your customer avatar. And a lot of people get this confused if they're going to create training, is they think like, oh, I already know who my customer is, and so it's that person. Well, it's different, because with audience analysis, it depends on what skills the person is coming to the program with, and also what their knowledge of something is. In this case, it'd be MLM. You might not have any background in Beachbody, but you may have background in MLM. So there's a whole bunch of different things that you figure out so that you know how to phrase things. It's not a one-size-fits-all. And that's one of the things that bugs me, is that everything is presented in a one-size-fits-all. For instance, when I have designed training in the past, like when I did training for different things when I was in the oil industry, sometimes it was new hire. new hire gets something different than someone who has been in the field for a while. And I was designing training for people who were in the field at different, facilities and stuff. So new hire, I mean, it's like there's going to be stuff that they don't know, but someone who's seasoned is going to know. So it's the same kind of thing here, is that if you are seasoned somehow in MLM, there's going to be stuff that you know. There might be things that Beachbody then would have to like break through of like things not to do that typically you are trained in or something. I mean, there'd be different questions that I would be asking to figure out how to differentiate this for different audiences. I would not want to put together something for just one audience and it's just that, because it's one thing to be a new coach. It's another thing to be a new coach with no prior MLM experience. Does that make sense?
But I want to call this my Hey Katie training, because that's my wife's name's Katie. So we'll just kind of jump into it, right? Obviously, I think at this point, hopefully, if you're a new coach, you've seen your new coach welcome email, and you've watched the new coach welcome videos. If you haven't, go into the coach office, go to training, and then there's a getting started section. There's 5 videos in there that we want you to watch if you haven't done that yet for you new coaches. And any of you existing coaches that need a refresher course, that's a good place to do it. But it'll help you set up your business, get your website set up, get your direct deposit set up, kind of get things going a little bit here. And so I would make sure that Katie did that. But then I would say, hey, Katie, as you're getting started here as a new coach, there's some things that you need to embrace, right? And I'm serious about these things for you new coaches that are listening in. The first thing in my years of doing this and being around this is you really have to embrace the fact that and let me define what I mean by the word embrace, right? The other day, and I don't know, I think we're all in the same situation, but the other day there was a good friend of mine that I hadn't seen in a little while, that actually family friend, and was over for dinner at my parents' house. And when I saw him, I came up and we just it was awkward. You're not quite sure what to do right now in COVID. Like, do you fist bump, hand? Like, I don't know. And it just felt weird. We ended up actually just giving each other like a hug. And it felt really good. It felt really good to hug somebody. But there was that moment of hesitation, like, do you do it or not? And you did it, and it hugged. And so when I say the word embrace here, I kind of think that, like, as you're a brand new coach, if I'm talking to my wife, Katie, if I'm a brand new coach, Katie, this is going to be one of those things that you might not feel comfortable. You're not sure what to do with it, but you've just got to embrace these things. You've got to just hug these things. You've got to just bring these things in close to your heart, and you've just got to embrace them, because it'll help you get your mind right. And the first one is you've got to embrace the fact that what you do, it does matter. Okay, this isn't just out there selling random products. It's not doing that that's not what this business is. This what we do, what you do as a coach, it really has significant impact on people's lives. It's not, and there's nothing wrong with, I don't know, press on nails or all the other things like that. I'm not belittling those things, but this one really, people, when you work with people, you work with them in such a way on things that really impacts their lives, their family, their well-being, their sense of self, their quality of life. So what you do matters. Each individual you touch matters. And so you have to embrace that. I know you can be a little uneasy about that sometimes, Katie. If I were talking to her, you don't maybe feel quite adequate to do that.
Well, one reason she may not feel adequate, or anyone who's a coach may not feel adequate, is because they lack a background in nutrition. They're not a personal trainer. There's no credentials at all. If you got the money, you can sign up and be a coach. That's it. And people have gotten so twisted because of the word coach. And it really kind of bothers me, because it's just like anything else. Like, what is it? Market partner. That's what Monat Huns are. They start off as a market partner. Everybody has just some kind of word. It means distributor. It means, independent contractor who's selling things, that's not an employee and has no benefits. That's what it means, pure and simple. Now, something else I'm going to say about this training and this whole setup, it's always so interesting to me, because when I create training, one of the things that you have to do is assess that people are able to actually do what you're training them to do. You usually have like a course goal, which in my language is a terminal objective, and it's broken down into what's called enabling objectives. When you're creating training, your content aligns to an objective, and that aligns to an assessment. Typically, if you're really doing it in the best way possible, as you write objectives, you're writing assessment at the same time so that everything is aligned. I have never seen any kind of an assessment for this. Now, assessment, you might think, oh, test. It can be, and oftentimes in corporate is test, but sometimes there's other things you can do. You can actually demonstrate, and there can actually be a rubric where you can follow criteria, and somebody can kind of give you feedback and a grade. They could actually do something like that and really have a mentorship type program of how to implement all this stuff, but they don't, because the point is never for everybody to be able to go out there and be successful. It's because you have now become the customer. As a matter of fact, in the compensation plan reaction video I did, the person who was doing the presentation was like, oh yeah, your coaches are your customers. That's all it is. So yeah, you may feel uneasy because you don't have any background or credentials in trying to get this information to people. I mean, I can remember thinking, oh, I should get some, and I think I even have it over on my bookshelf. I was looking to get some different, certifications because I wanted to have knowledge. You are not trained in any shape or form with anything other than some product knowledge and about, really it's just so lame. All I have is just all of the MLM training is so lame. Mindset. That is the big thing. Yeah, I gotta have your mindset right. Maybe you should actually teach people how to sell something. Oh, but it's not that. It's about you as a coach, buying. So we've already hooked you in. So we know you're going to buy. You see?
That you might feel a little uneasy about what it might look like or what it might feel like. You might feel unsure right now that even applies to you. But regardless of all those feelings, you've got to embrace that what you do matters. The next thing is you've got to embrace that there's going to be a learning curve. No one walks in as a brand new coach and has it all figured out. You're going to walk in, you're going to feel overwhelmed, you're going to wonder, what's this, what's that, I don't understand. It feels like people are talking a different language. I don't understand all these terms. I've never been as purposeful or active on social media as they're asking me to be. How can I possibly post that often? How am I going to be doing this stuff? Do I really want to show, my workout moves? I'm embarrassed because I'm not doing them right. All these things are going to come. There's going to be a learning curve to all of this.
What starts happening to you is basically the BITE model starts being used on you. Behavior control, information control, thought control, emotional control. And a lot of it is behavior control because of the amount of posting. And they also control things about what you're eating, including consuming Shakeology and then doing their workouts. Everything revolves around all that. Thought control because it goes back to the whole mindset portion of it all, And he mentioned about all the new terms, about oh, I've never heard this. I don't, it's a new language. It's loaded language. Loaded language is taking often a common word and twisting it just so and giving it a new meaning. And MLMs are filled with that. You have very specific language that is used that if you're outside of that MLM, you're not going to understand it. It makes no sense to you. Now, a lot of the language is very common across MLMs, like upline, downline, stuff like that. There is some that's common, but there's also very specialized language within each and every MLM. And that is something that twists you up, and that is part of the whole thought reform process, is learning to encode this new language that's designed to suppress your critical thought and to keep you locked into the system.
The to-do list, the training, the things that your coach is going to give you, Katie, to help you get better, it's going to feel overwhelming because it's new. Anything you do for the first little while, it's going to be a learning curve. So don't let that chase you away. Don't let that be the thing that makes you go, well, this isn't for me, just because you didn't get it right away. Nobody does. there's going to be a learning curve. So set your mindset accordingly. Set your mindset to understand that little by little, I'm going to be attacking this step by step, doing the little things, starting to share my story, starting to make sure that I'm doing these small things, starting these little conversations, starting to be able to add value, do things on social media. All these little things matter. They give you that experience. This is not, that's the only way really to gain it, is to do it. You learn to coach by coaching. And down the road, it will be easier. That future state that you can see yourself in when
you learn to coach by coaching, but yet you're not told how to do that. You're not really given, you're not taught at all how to do it. Like when people come into instructional design without instructional design experience, you can be taught because there's a system, there's a process. And I could show somebody like training that I've designed and talk about it, or as they're starting to do it, I can work with them one-on-one. I can mentor them. You see, it's different. In this, you don't get that. Especially if you do not start selling challenge packs straight out the gate and making some sales, you're not going to get any kind of special anything, because the expectation is that you can come in and start making a difference right away. And if you do, then you rank up and stuff. Then that opens the doors to special little groups where you get more attention. You're expected to figure this stuff out on your own. And they're telling you, well, we've given you all the tools. You have your like Success Club tracker, which is basically, and I've done a video on this, has all of the bite model in there where you're tracking everything so that you're trying to go after that carrot that's being held in front of you, which is, earning some money. It is hitting Success Club where you get another little trinket. It is ranking up where, you get recognized. It's just, if the real world worked like this, boy, we'd be in trouble.
You see your coaches and see other people get on here and talk about it, and it seems so easy for them. You'll get there. You're going to get there. But they got there the same way that you're going to get there, which is just by doing it and by showing up and just by being a part of it. So don't let that be the thing that makes you kind of wonder if this is cut out for you, because it is. Okay. The next thing is you just got to embrace the fact that there's going to be obstacles and there's going to be resistance. It's not always going to be easy. And the resistance a lot of time from other people is a natural part of this, misunderstandings, things like that. And also a lot of it's going to be your own internal resistance, the changes that you're going to have to make, the greater discipline that you might have to have, the things that you're going to have to be able to, the resistance that you're going to feel within yourself as you're starting to learn these new things, the resistance to change, the resistance to maybe having to make some small sacrifices. There's going to be obstacles and resistance. So if you have that happen, if you feel that come, that's okay. Don't let that make you think that maybe you're doing something wrong. Don't let that make you second guess whether you can actually do this, because you can. It's just kind of part of the path that you walk down. Think about it like resistance training, right? The strain is what creates the strength. The strain creates the strength. That strength that you want, that experience, that ability, that all of those things that you want, those are earned through the strain, through going through these pieces. And so don't fight that. And last, I want you to know
that just really hurt, because all that is saying is like the resistance, that's people saying no to your opportunity, because by and by, people don't want to be part of an MLM or buy MLM products. They don't want to support that. And you're going to be out there as a new coach, all excited and jazzed up about your opportunity. Well, you just got to tune all of that out. And then you're going to start second guessing. No. Don't second guess yourself. And certainly don't go look and see what anybody else is saying, because, you just got to work through it, because it's just part of the process. And absolutely it is, quote unquote, part of the process is being told no a whole lot, because people don't want this. The only people who actually succeed have a massive network, already have influence, and most people don't walk into joining any MLM with that in place. And trying to build it just by offering your MLM And did you notice how we did shade Color Street with, the whole nail stickers, which, I'm not into any of that kind of stuff, but I did notice that he threw shade over there.
No, Katie, if I were talking to my wife, for those of you just turning in, we're doing a thing like that. I would tell her something that I tell a lot of coaches, which is a key thing for a new coach to kind of embrace, is business owner compensation and understanding how that works. A lot of times we come into you'll come. I'll see coaches come into coaching, and they're used to thinking in a compensation mindset from what they're used to, which is what I call employee compensation, which is where we really trade time for money, right? So there's.
Wait a minute. You work for Beachbody, the MLM. So aren't you trading time for money? And as a Beachbody employee, you can't be a coach. You've already said that your wife can't be a coach because she's an employee. So here you are dissing, regular jobs, and yet you hold one yourself. Isn't that a bit ironic?
Hourly wages, even a salary, 40, 50-hour work week. Here's a certain amount you get paid. If you're really good at it, then you get paid more, right? But it's very time-based, okay? You trade time for money in that model, but business owner compensation is totally different. There is no guarantees from your time, okay? But that's also the good news, is because there's also no limits on it, all right? So business owner compensation is a value-based compensation model. So your compensation is largely a reflection of the efforts that you've given to help create value for people. Create value for people, that premise is the underlying supporting structure for employee compensation. The more value I create for the more people, the greater my compensation.
Okay, meanwhile, he's being compensated by Beachbody. Coaches are not employees, and he's telling them that they're business owners. They're not business owners, because Beachbody could just close up shop, and anyone who's a Beachbody coach, boom, there goes their income. It just disappears. We saw that with Advocare when they just, shut down the whole MLM side of the house. Everybody lost their income. That can happen to anybody who is in MLM, but this is absolutely infuriating to me that he is pumping people up to believe that that's why people work so hard. I know it is that I did. I worked so hard, like I'm going to add value. This whole mystery of adding value to people's lives. You only add value to people's lives if they're looking for what you are saying. If they aren't looking for it, it's falling on deaf ears. No one's going like, oh, I'm so impressed with your story and how you're just sharing all this stuff into the world. What? No one's doing that, Oh.
So you have to kind of embrace that it's a little bit different. So maybe up front, you're going to feel like I'm putting in a lot of time and effort as I'm going through these learning curves and kind of figuring all this stuff out and navigating through all of these pieces. And boy, it doesn't feel like it's worth it right now because I'm doing all this stuff and it's not paying off. But every time that you're sharing a story or having a conversation with people or adding value on your social media, every time you're doing these things, you're creating value, and that value compounds on itself, especially when you do it consistently. And as you compound that value and as you bring more people to participate in that value, the little recipes that you're sharing, the tips that you're giving, right?
Okay, the recipes and the tips that you're giving. Okay, but you aren't qualified for anything, but yet you're going to give tips. Now, I could give you tips all the live long day about designing courses because I actually, have the background. I've been doing it for a long time. I have the degree. I have the resources. I mean, I can tell you about that, give you plenty of tips. When I was a Beachbody coach, it goes back to that's why I was looking to get some kind of credentials because I wanted to have something to kind of back me up. You don't have that. What they tell you to do is to look on the Beachbody blog, get tips from there, get tips from the content that they're feeding you. But you don't have any credentials at all. I mean, it's just so janky.
Group that you just ran and helped two people have a great experience and they told people about that. Those things compound over time to the point where now you build yourself a great organization, and as a business owner you're compensated from all of that value. So you've got to embrace those things. What you do matters, that there is going to be a learning curve, that there is going to be obstacles and resistance, and that's okay, and how business owner compensation works. Now, if I were talking to Katie at this point in the conversation, for all of you new coaches out there, she would look at me and go, okay, I got all that. And I know you sometimes like to kind of live on the high level, principle level of things. And I do, because I believe that helps people like make the decisions in their specific situations. But then she would ask me, she would say, okay, but now give me some more specifics, because I still don't quite know what to do. And so I would say, okay, hey, Katie, let me show you. All right. And I'm going to actually, let me brought up some things here to make sure I kind of stay on point. So there's, if I were talking to her, there are 5 things, okay? There are 5 things that I really think that, I'm just trying to bring this up here real quick so I can follow along and make sure I don't get lost. There are 5 things that I would want Katie to focus on doing. And honestly, for all of you new coaches that are watching here, this is what I would say to you as well from all of my experience. The first one is you've got to take care of yourself. Okay. You've got to be your own best customer. The very best thing that you can do for your business starts with you. You are your business. Okay. And one of the biggest benefits to coaching is it gives you a little extra accountability to making sure that you're taking care of yourself. You've got to make time for yourself, to get your workout in, to get your personal development in. Taking care of yourself is first and foremost. So the first thing is that how do we do that? Okay. So here's what I'm going to ask you as brand new coaches: to take care of yourself, you've got to make sure that you're committed to a fitness and nutrition program. That you've chosen a program, and a fitness and nutrition program, and that you're following that program. That you're being your best customer, your very best challenger, right? So commit to that program. I need you to be actively participating in a group, okay? Now, hopefully, your coach, the one that sponsored you into the business, is running a group that you're a part of, or that you have access to a group. But if not, find one, okay? Find a group to be a part of. Reach upline, go into your coach office. It gives you the contact information of the coaches above you, but be actively participating in the group. Don't be sitting on the sidelines. Be a great customer. Check-ins, doing the things you need to do, okay? Take care of yourself, okay?
Doing the things you need to do, being your best customer, modeling the behavior that you're expecting others to do. But you have to be your best customer, meaning you got to keep on buying Shakeology. You got to keep on participating in all of this. Get into some other groups, because that way you can be around like-minded people and be further indoctrinated into all of this crap, because nobody needs Beachbody in their life to do workout programs. The programs are decent if it was just not attached to MLM. And don't get open fit, because that's Beachbody in disguise. I would never want to get anything associated with any of the people that have been part of Beachbody, because it's always like I'd be side-eyeing going, when's the MLM part going to drop, you know?
Let the Beachbody experience get in you. Because I have never met an effective coach who doesn't understand that feeling of being a Beachbody, of what Beachbody can deliver. And you have to let that in you. And I know maybe you're brand new, and maybe you just start out directly to coaching, and you're just starting your journey as a customer at the same time as you're learning how to coach. And I get all of that. But you cannot replace the invaluable experience of getting those results, of following those programs, of doing that, of taking care of yourself first. And as you do that, that alone will be the most powerful thing that you've got to be able to talk to people about. They'll want what you're experiencing, okay? And so take care of yourself first. Committing to that fitness and nutrition program, making sure you're actively participating in a group. And then the one additional step, because you're a coach, is you're taking care of yourself, is that you're sharing your journey and your experiences with your network, social media, in real life, that you're sharing that you're kind of talking about it. And that's what will initiate a lot of conversations. That's what will help build the credibility with.
Oh, yeah. So many conversations were initiated when I was a coach by me sharing my journey. No one gave a flip. Let's be honest here. People don't really care. The only people who care are the other coaches in the network. That's it. And you're all pumping each other up and jazzing each other up that this is the greatest thing. And it's not. It's a trap.
existing group of people. And I know if you're a brand new coach, you're looking at this and probably going, well, why would people listen to me? Well, these things are how you build that credibility. Okay, so taking care of you. That's the first one. The second thing is to do the vital behaviors. There are 4 vital behaviors that we spend a lot of time as a company researching and ensuring that these are the consistent things that we see coaches doing on a regular basis that's bringing them success. And this isn't a 4 vital behaviors training. I don't have time to go into all the details around it. I did print out, let me just see real quick here. If you're not familiar with the 4 vital behaviors, if you don't know what they are, I'm going to tell you a couple places to look at them. Hold on real quick. Let me just bring them up here. I just printed them out on my printer so I could show them. So they're right here. Okay. Go look for the sheet. Just search 4 vital behaviors in the coach office, and you'll be able to see them here. But the first one is be proof the products work. So take care of yourself. That's the first vital behavior. You can see a theme here, right? The second one is connect, invite, and follow up. Share that journey. Start those conversations, right? Kind of talk through what those things are with people. Okay. The third one is to help people get results. Okay. Focusing on getting that experience and having them help them getting started. Yes, that's in the inviting part. But then once they're in, running a great group and being a part, giving them access, connecting them with tools to help support them. And then the fourth one is doing personal development. Okay. Now, if you haven't seen it, those are the 4 vital behaviors. We actually have identified the specific, the most leveraged activities that go with each one of these 4 vital behaviors on this tracker sheet. We call it the Success Club System Tracker. Hopefully you've seen this. Hopefully your coach has shown this to you by now. But if not, you'll see it soon. You can also go here on the Champions page in the units section, and you can download this tracker, and you'll find trainings that go along with each one of these activities in these each one of these 4 vital behavior areas. All right. This is designed to help you do that. You've got to do those 4 vital behaviors. One of the things that I see a lot of new coaches doing, Katie, is they tend to overcomplicate. They feel like the complexity is a requirement for it to be effective, and it's not true. Okay? These simple behaviors, these simple activities done consistently creates the value that I'm talking about that compounds, which will help you grow your compensation. Okay?
So when does it compound? How many days, weeks, months, years do you need to be doing this and paying into Beachbody by getting all the things, the Shakeology, beach bars, other merch, just, other things, little trinkets that you need to do with various programs? When do you see this compounding effect? They want you to think you just keep doing it over and over, and it will spill over. For most people, it does not. Why is that? Because it's not supposed to. Because you are the customer.
So use that. Check out those trainings. The third thing is to make sure you're sharing our total solution. Now, I know, again, if I'm talking to my wife here, Katie, I'd say, Katie, I know sometimes one of the things that's uneasy when you talk to people, if you feel it's hard, it's intimidating to feel like you're trying to sell something or do things. So let's maybe reframe that just a little bit. The goal isn't to sell something. The goal is to help people. So let's think about it that way. Okay. And I know now down the road, what will happen is as you've built your network and as you've grown this and added tremendous value and continue to do that, you will have people that will actually be coming to you on a fairly regular basis, looking for help getting results with certain things.
When does that happen? When do people start coming to you? I don't know a single person that when I was involved in Beachbody where they experienced that people just coming to them because they've been adding so much value and they're seeing it. When does that happen? Again, how many days, how many weeks, how many months, how many years do you keep doing this before people just randomly start coming to you for, I want this total solution that you have to offer?
But for most new coaches, and Katie, probably for you, that's not going to happen too often. So you're going to do a lot of the reaching out. And that can be a little bit tricky. But just know, again, it's part of that learning curve. So don't let yourself get too upset about it. But also understand that when you're talking to people, when you're reaching out, what really you're selling is the results in the experience that people are getting. The products and the pack and the things like that, those are tools to help deliver on those pieces. Those are things that will help deliver those results. And yeah, there's a price attached to those things, but let's think about it a little bit differently, right? If I'm running a great group and I want people to have a great experience in that group and I want the group to be able to yield results for people, that's the main thing I should be talking about with people. And that tends to help steer the conversation, in the right place. People all of a sudden understand the value of what they're buying. And a lot of times what I see with new coaches is the easiest thing to talk about sometimes is BOD. And that's great. I love Beachbody On Demand. It's amazing. The value of BOD is ridiculous. And therefore it makes it a lot easier to be able to sell to somebody, right? Because, hey, they sell the workout programs, help from home, all that kind of stuff. They've got all these things. And sometimes I will see new coaches that will shy away from even talking about the total solution we have, okay? And because it might be a little bit more difficult. But we know our total solution works. Nutrition plus fitness plus support equals results. Nutrition plus fitness plus support equals results. And as a coach, you've got to really embrace that. That's what you're doing. You're living that. That's how you know that formula will produce results. Nutrition, right? Eating better, so feeding your body with Shakeology, right? Getting better control over the other meals that you eat during the day, right? With the support and the nutrition programs that we've got. A fitness program to get your body moving, and then a support, a community, accountability to stick to those things to help develop and maintain those habits, right? We know that works. In a challenge pack, you can see that's the quickest way for us to deliver a total solution to somebody. Fitness, nutrition, Shakeology's there. 2B Mindset, Ultimate Portion Fix is there with the containers and the 2B Mindset tracker at the nutrition part. Fitness, access to Beachbody On Demand for an entire year, right? Support, the group that comes with it on a coach, okay?
Okay, like being in this group is like so great. Let me tell you, you will exhaust yourself being your best customer and going into the group and being all jazzed up all the time and checking in on people. The only time I've ever been in a group that was like massively active is when a high-ranking coach was running it, because everybody in it was a coach. There was no one in it that was just a customer because they just love the products. That's not how this works. The coaches, I want to say it again, the coaches are the customers. And it is really, it's so frustrating when you are attempting to run these groups and you're doing everything, you're pouring yourself into it, and nobody gives a flying monkey's nut. It's a bit hard to keep on going, but they're going to tell you it's growing pains. You're just learning the skills. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great, girl. AKA, keep buying our poop. Keep being a customer. Don't worry that you're not able to do X, Y, and Z. As long as you keep trying, as long as you keep believing and keep buying, that's all they care about. They don't care whether or not you have success in your group. They want you to buy the Beachbody stuff.
Sharing that total solution is vital, because what people really want then are the results. And so share our total solution. Get comfortable sharing that. Now, if you're a little uncomfortable on how to do that, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. In the coach office, in the training section, there is a getting started tab. Make sure you watch the Shakeology video that's there. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is go to the on teambeachbody.com. If you click on Shakeology, it's going to take you to a page where it talks about Shakeology. Make sure you're familiar with all of the things that are in there, that you can talk about a couple of those things and share your own experience with that. But sharing our total solution, it's not just about Success Club points, and it's not just about these other things that are attached with it that you've heard as a new coach. What it really is it's putting your customer in the best position to get the results that they want, to have the best experience with the nutrition support they need, the fitness program that they need, and a great support with you as their coach. All right, so that's 3. Number 4 is, as a brand new coach, starting to provide value on social media. Now, don't overthink this. You just got to look for simple ways to start and look, and Katie, and if I'm talking to my wife, I'd say, I know you're probably not used to doing this. I know you're not probably used to doing some of these things, but let's just start some small, simple ways. sharing, experiences that you've had in your workout or insights, showcasing how you're maybe getting a little bit better on your meal preparations, maybe how you've used these containers, maybe how you're, some healthy recipes that you're finding, some tips, on a workout move that you did that might help, or maybe getting enough water, little things that you can do to be able to add value to your network, especially on social media, is a key step right now. Okay, looking to be able to do that, looking, using hashtags or other things on Instagram to be able to find other people who have similar interests and starting to build that out. And then they will find that value that you've got. Right? There's a whole training on this, but I would just say the biggest thing right now for you is just make sure that you're just looking for ways to add value on social media, getting in the habit of doing that. Now, to help you do that, okay, what would I do? Well, I would tell you right now, I would go to the Beachbody blog, Beachbody On Demand /blog, and I would look through all the articles and all the things that are there, because what's there? Great value adds that you can use, you can share directly, you can get ideas and pull from those blogs and share it on your posts. You can leverage that blog to be able to just to consistently be adding value as you're getting going on your social media. All right. And that would be what I would do. And that's an important part in this value creation process that we talked about. And then the last one would be to understand the basics of our compensation plan. That's what I tell Katie. I'd say you just need to understand the basics of how it works. It's important as a business owner, right? Now, one of the things you need to do is understand how you earn. And understand it is that when I sell challenge packs, right, there's a bonus that comes with that. Understand that when I have customers and they purchase, products, that there's a 25% commission that comes with that, and how that can work for me. That I look at the financial goals that I have for my business. Probably, maybe it's, helping to buy some groceries, or maybe it's a car payment to get going here. Maybe it's just to pay for my Shakeology. Whatever your initial goals are, what activity will it take to be able to do that? What activity will it take to be able to do that? And keeping it really, really simple. Now, what would I do, if I were you, to be able to learn that? I would go to the coach office again, go into the training section, and there's a little section that says compensation plan training, where we've created a library of trainings for you to understand our compensation plan. There's the first few are just designed just to explain the plan itself, and then there's some other intricate ones that explain more of the other parts of the compensation plan. But begin to educate yourself on how your business generates income for you, so you can be purposeful in what you're trying to do, and understand the rewards that are available to you financially as you coach. So those are the 5 things that I would make sure I told them to focus on, and the activities to make sure those things are happening. Okay, and I know that seems, if our tech and Katie, I know that can seem like, okay, well, it kind of seems simplistic to it, but guys, that's really what it is. All of you, that's what it is, right? Embracing those things that I talked about, right? So we'll do a quick review on everything real quick, right? Embracing those, sorry, let me bring this back up again to make sure I'm understanding. Embracing that what you do matters. Embracing that there's going to be a learning curve, and that there will be obstacles and resistance, but then that's how we get better, okay? And then embracing the principle of business owner compensation being a value-based compensation model instead of time-based. And then what do I start focusing on to do that? So that's kind of the things that I'm just embracing, so that I don't let those things kind of get in my head and chase me away. Then I'm focusing on what as a brand new coach? Well, I'm focusing on taking care of myself. That I'm my own best customer. That I'm in a group. That I'm participating in a group, and that I'm actually then I have a group to invite to. I probably didn't mention that, but I should have, right? But I've got something there. But I'm taking care of myself. Okay. And we talked about that, doing complete programs, actively participating in groups, etc. The next thing I would focus on is doing the vital behaviors, okay? We gave you the tools, right? Specifically the Success Club System Tracker that's broken down into the vital behaviors, okay? And has trainings for those. You can find those on the Champions page in the Units section, or in the Coach Office in the Training tab, where it says Success Club System, okay? You can focus on that, but doing those vital behaviors, that's my daily to-do. That's where the rubber hits the road. This is where the learning curve takes place, right? And we provided you with trainings to help you if you need it with those things. But that's the daily work of coaching that takes place there. Then I want to make sure that I'm sharing and promoting my total solution. Now, not everyone's going to want it. We want to meet people where they're at, but at least I'm sharing and talking about, and I'm a passionate advocate for our total solution of nutrition plus fitness plus support as being the way that we know people will get results. Finally, the last two are that I'm starting to really focus on providing value on social media, right? And to my network on social media in real life. That I'm doing little things. Some of the suggestions, and they're on the Success Club system tracker, but it's meal preps, it's workout moves, it's health tips, it's things like that. And if you're struggling with that, go to the Beachbody blog, Beachbody On Demand /blog. Tons of recipes, tons of ideas, tons of things that you can just share in there directly, or even better, that you can read through, get your takeaways, and then share that content with your group. But great resource material in the blog. And then the fifth one is just to make sure you start to learn how you earn compensation as a coach, so that you understand that you can set some financial goals for yourself, for your business, and understand how to get there. To learn that, again, go into the coach office. In the training section, there is a tab that says compensation plan. All the trainings that you'll need will be in there. Now, look, again, I know there's a lot of things to focus on. There's a lot of things to do, but I know you can do it. And it's funny thing is, when we talk about the recognition pieces of this, hitting Success Club, finding, coaches who want to work the business, all these kind of things, it's an interesting thing that those outcomes happen as a result of doing these things consistently. Okay? Those outcomes happen as a result of doing these things consistently. And so don't get so caught up and so focused on those outcomes at the expense of doing the things that I've just talked about that will produce those outcomes. Okay? There's no shortcuts. There's no secret that nobody's telling you. It's just being consistent and getting through those things. So thank you guys for tuning in. I know it went a little bit longer than I wanted, but just some things that I want to share with you. I don't know if it was better with or without the PowerPoint, but I know I enjoyed not having to click through a PowerPoint. So I hope you all do well. If you have any questions or anything, just go ahead and put them in the comments and tag me, and I will get to it as soon as I can. So have a great holiday weekend, you guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye now.
He has something like 10 years experience in other MLMs, or in MLM in general. I mean, it's been a moment since I've actually looked at what his background is, but I know that he has just kind of taken on the narrative of MLM as it's the truth, and that they are basically giving you all the things that you need to be successful. But are you? Are you actually being told what to do? They make it sound so simple that you just do these behaviors and that there's nothing secret. There is. People who come in with a massive network tend to do really well because they already have that network built. The average person, the average bear, doesn't have that. It's completely different. And all of this is all about getting you to keep doing everything Beachbody related. And don't look outside of that. Don't start not believing in yourself. You got to just keep moving forward. And he comes across as someone that you would just meet, and you're going to think okay, he's on the up and up. But to me, this is really a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's someone to get you to believe in the fairy tale even more, and to make you think that, you are doing the right thing by just following, this little formula that Beachbody has laid out to you. I want to know, what is your opinion of all of this? What do you think of what he said? Do you think it's going to make a difference? And, how many of these 200,000 coaches who have joined, how many of them are going to be making money? Now, if we do what the typical percentage is, about maybe 1%. So we're looking at maybe 2,000 people will be able to make it, and he knows that. Corporate has the numbers. They have numbers that they don't share with us. They know the churn rate. But that doesn't matter, because it's all about getting people to keep doing this for as long as possible. Like this video if you liked it. You might want to consider subscribing, giving it a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. It's all engagement to me. And remember, you're beautiful and I love you.